Hey guys, hope all's going well with you. I hope that in general the market's been going well for you in most of your coins. It's going pretty well on this side, but I know if you're watching this, you're probably in ASM and it's moved up a little bit. And last time I checked, it's still held at about a 6% increase, but we want more, right? I can't promise anything about when it's going to go up more or how much at this moment, though I'll always give you guys my speculative thoughts. What I can do is let you know some more answers I got. So if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with the fact that I email straight up. It's not like an insider thing. I just email the guys at ACM, bunch of questions. They respond to me. Usually it's somewhere between 1 day and a week, right? It's great. They're as direct as that they can be. And the questions I asked this time, which I'll give them to you in a few moments, there wasn't too much that I got, but they did give me a teaser, which I think I'm going to have directly in the title, which is the end of the email with we are expecting some good news from the European market soon. All right. So I'm going to go a little bit today into what do I think that means, because I'm going to speculate, right? Like, what else am I going to do with that? Right. There's certain things that I think are realistic that I don't care about personally. There's things that I think are realistic that I will care about. And then there's the unrealistic, in my opinion, super hopeful stuff. You can already kind of gather. I don't think that's going to happen. Like a Binance listing, which even that's only going to be really good news at the right time. But I do have thoughts. I want to share them with you guys, and I'll go over the other questions I asked and the little information I got from there. But I want to ask something of you guys briefly, right? Is if you guys know of anyone else on YouTube, or preferably YouTube, but Twitter or Reddit, etc., that talks about ASM, can you put their name down in the comments below? The reason why is I'd love to talk with them and maybe do a little collab video or something, because I don't see too many people, right? And that's one of the main reasons why I record about ASM as frequently as I do, is that no one else really does it, right? And it's not a secret. Crypto prices go up when people buy it, and people will buy it if they know about it. And I don't care how damn good a project is. If you don't know about it, you're not going to pay for it. You're not even going to find it to see it. And, the whole thing about getting in early is knowing about something before anyone else does. And that's us right now. The next goal is to get more people to freaking know about it. So if you guys know anyone else that talks about ASM, please do put their name or their handle down below. I'd love to reach out with them and see if we can just do something to get the word out more. Now let's get into some of these questions and what I was told and what I think about it. So I'm going to go over the questions. I'm not going to read all of them verbatim because there's not too much that I got. Granted, I pretty much asked the same questions, because if I ask 6 questions 1 month, get kind of no answers, ask the same 6 questions, maybe a little differently, I get a little bit because another month's gone by. There's more information because they're actually doing things in the background. All right. So I'm not going to read most of these verbatim, but in short, my one question was if there was any more information about their NS3 app where you can take quizzes, get points, and then you're going to convert it over to free ASM tokens in the second half of this year. I asked if there's any more details about that in terms of timing, because we're in the second half of the year and essentially there's no updates. So I'm guessing now it's going to be Q4, all right, because we're Q3, not expecting much at this time. Let's move on. I asked more selfishly for me about staking, because when they were delisted from the small Korean exchanges, their push was we are now staking on Gate.io at 12%. I don't know if you guys have done staking before. 12% is pretty freaking good, but I thought Gate.io 12% was awesome. So I'm in the US. I can't get on Gate.io unless I use a VPN, and I just don't want to deal with that. It's minor. It's me bitching about something small. So I just asked if there's any other major staking for any of us in the US. About 35-40% of you guys, those who subscribe at least, are in the UK. So I'm not even sure if that's relevant to you. But if you want to stake ASM and you think it's going to be around for a little bit, or honestly, if you just want to, not financial advice, if you just want to pack something away, if you're already holding it anyway, you can get free ASM for just holding it. So if you're not sure what staking is, look into it. I can always talk about it a little bit more, but Gate.io does it at a great percentage for ASM. I also asked if there's any more information on they're a deepened partnership with Base. Actually, what I asked was, with Base, I know the new tokens are being released on the ecosystem. Coinbase has been doing some updates for trading platform functions and is supposedly emphasizing Base eco coins such as ASM. Are there any other benefits that are coming from or on Coinbase for ASM? And the response I got was, we are currently preparing Coinbase Alpha DEX, and we will know more once trading begins. I can speculate a little bit on that. In short, one of the updates with Coinbase is that they're making it set up easier for small and medium businesses to do all their invoices, their payroll, trading, and investing on Coinbase. Awesome. They're also connecting Airdrome Finance's website to the Coinbase app. So instead of going on Airdrome Finance, converting stuff from either Coinbase or Coinbase Wallet to MetaMask or Phantom Airdrome, moving it to Airdrome, staking or LP it there, and then move it back, you can do it directly on the phone. So my guess is what they're referring to is that ASM is going to be tradable on there and maybe even liquidity poolable. I would do liquidity pools on ASM, throw a couple of bucks in there, throw ASM to counter it. That could be fun. I'm going to clarify a little bit more on that, but it's good to know that they are actively communicating with Coinbase and being part of their future endeavors. I also asked if there's anything that me or the community, you wonderful people, can do to help try to spread the word. And I didn't expect a good answer from this at all, but they did encourage keep sharing their news articles from NS3. That's their marketing, their advertising, and it is their product. Like, okay. So like, you'll see me, I don't do it daily, but a couple times a week, I will just repost an article from their app. I'll just, $ASM, repost it, usually say something cute about it. And just advertising about the token. So if you guys ever use the app or you just see loads of news articles come up on Twitter, it does help to share it. There's a few of you that do. I see it. If you're one of them, you probably know it because we talk a lot on Twitter. And then lastly, and here's one I'll speculate on for a couple of minutes, is I asked, are there any new or planned projects, use cases, concepts, etc., that assembleai is planning that could be seen as a positive for the community to know or to speculate upon? And this is where their goodbye was of, we are continuing to build with the US and European markets as our top priorities. We expect to have good news from the European markets soon. Okay. Now, first off, that sounds like good news and a teaser to me, but let's get something in check. I'm not going to get overly excited about this. I've seen too many times where companies announce that, hey, there's going to be an announcement, and then we think it's going to be something really big. So people get excited. I'll explain as an example. I remember this with Turbo. Probably about a year ago, they announced that they were going to have an announcement on like Tuesday or something, 3 or 4 days prior. And everyone was thinking it was going to be a Coinbase or Binance listing at that time. And it went up because like they're going to have an announcement soon. Guys wonder what it is. And it ended up being something far smaller than a listing. It ended up being like a gaming deal. It was a deal that was a gaming company that was owned by Disney. I mean, it was good news. It was good business news. There was nothing that moved the market price. And the price of Turbo actually went back down below where it started before they said that they had an announcement coming up. So I have no idea if this is going to be great news. My guess is it's more of going to be decent news. And I want to speculate on what I think it's realistically going to be and or not. So when they actually release news, I don't know what soon is, right? I'm going to try to clarify, but I don't know if soon is next week, next month, this quarter, right? Anything past that, I wouldn't think is soon. But again, that's my guessing. So it's a lot of guessing here. But I do have some thoughts of what I think it could be or couldn't be or what I care about. First, the reason I say what I care about is that just because it's really good news for them as a business does not necessarily mean it's good news for us investors or something we interpret as good news. All right, like something that would be was great news for them was a week or two ago, they announced a bunch more languages that they pushed off into their articles. I mean, that meant that they can now have several tens of millions of more people use their product. Awesome news for them. In general, the retail community of investing didn't give a whopping shit. right? So there could be more news about languages or something like that. I wouldn't think that's what it is, but it could be. And that's not something that would get me excited whatsoever about it. Other somewhat realistic that would be minorly exciting is if there's things like, let's say they get a partnership with a news outlet and they become the economic component of a news or journalism outlet that's out in France or UK or anywhere out there that we're considering Europe. I'm not suspecting it's that one. And I wouldn't expect that to, if it did happen, I wouldn't expect that to move the market, but that would increase utility and make a better chance for when the market does move, for it to move higher in the future, right? Sometimes it's just building things. And I know we're tired of just building things on a lot of crypto, far from just this one. But, the whole Rome wasn't built in a day kind of concept. We got to build from the grounds up. So sometimes what's good news now doesn't actually show to anything till later. Any sort of advertising deal, like even if they end up getting a job to advertise, because news and journalism is, the redheaded stepsister of marketing and advertising. So maybe they end up getting a marketing deal with some even just moderate company somewhere out in Europe. That would be cool. That would, I think, make some numbers move. But of those options, I think that the most likely would end up being some sort of deal with a news or journaling app or another app or a company or a channel. I don't think that's what's going to be. But if it's any of those, but I want to tell you what I actually think it's going to be, right? Is I think it's going to be an exchange listing or a data partnership. And it's just my speculation. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with Coinbase because that's not Europe. Binance isn't really settled anywhere, though they target a lot of Europe, but I'm not thinking it's going to be Binance. But, there's a couple of exchanges that will move the needle or should move the needle if they get on, whether it's an exchange or a data partnership. So when I say these crypto exchanges, I mean either a partnership or an exchange listing. If it gets on either, it would be great. So the smallest one would be LCX. I'm not going to try to pronounce it, but it's a crypto company. I've kind of liked this one. They're smaller. They're built out of Germany. It is a smaller exchange, and they do a lot of tokenization, and I think that would be good for both parties. So that would be cool. Feasible. Another one is Bitstamp, which is a little bit larger. Actually, I think it's notably larger. LCX is around 5 million worth coming through. Bitstamp is, depending on the day, somewhere between 100 and 300 million. So notable increase. But that's getting large enough of an exchange to make a difference. I would like that idea. The biggest one that I think is possible would be Kraken, right? Kraken would be a pretty big deal. That's one of the ones that I would put right below Binance and Coinbase. They advertise a lot. They have a lot that comes through them, and a data partnership with them would be pretty cool because then they would have Binance and Kraken, and speculatively, they're working on Coinbase because they're already on the ecosystem. So again, there's also a possibility, let's be real, it could be a giant nothing burger. I don't know. But do you know what? I'm feeling a little freaking hopium right now because how often do I give you guys that shit, right? Like I do think there's a good chance, and I'm very much hoping it's an exchange listing on a large European group or it's a data share from them. There's also a lot of other things I wouldn't think of that they could release and be good news. But I'm excited to find out. I'm hesitantly excited to find out. We'll put it that way. So if you guys have any thoughts of what could be some good news coming from the European markets for ASM, put in the comments below because I'm curious what you guys would think too. All right? And I guess that's pretty much all I got. I asked several things from you guys to put in the comments below. Please do. I would appreciate it. Let's make this all work for everybody. Have a great time, guys. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.